In previous videos, I talked about the mechanics of a single particle as well as the mechanics of a system of particles. So our next topic is the constraints. So in this video, I will discuss holonomic and non-holonomic constraints. So this is going to be a very quick review and I will explain it theoretically and with some example. Okay, so the first question is, what are constraints? So constraints are those forces, those conditions, those quantities that limit the motion. If there are n independent particles, then there are 3n degrees of freedom. So now take an example. Consider a rigid body consisting of n particles. What should be degrees of freedom? So the answer is 6. A rigid body has only 6 degrees of freedom, although it contains n particles. It is because there are certain constraints on these particles. By definition, a rigid body is an object in which the distances between the particles are fixed. So this is a constraint. We will talk more about it. So now consider some other examples. So these are simple examples. So if we have a container and it contains gas molecules, so now these gas molecules are constrained to move within the container. They cannot escape this container. So this is an example of constraint. Similarly, a person in the jail is also constrained, and a particle placed on the surface of a solid sphere is subject to constraint that it can move only on the surface or in the region exterior to the surface. So you can understand this, that if we have a solid sphere, so another particle cannot penetrate it. It will be outside of this sphere. So these are just some random and common example of constraints. Okay, now we talk about constraints more specifically. So there are two types of constraints, holonomic and non-holonomic constraints. So now, if the conditions of constraint can be expressed as equations connecting the coordinates of the particles having the form, then constraint is holonomic constraint. Means that if the conditions can be represented by the equations, then we have holonomic constraints. So take a very quick and very simple example. So if a particle is confined in a xy plane, so it means it cannot move along z-axis. So now this is a constraint, and this condition of constraint can be written as z is equal to 0. So this equation z is equal to 0 is an equation of holonomic constraint. Take another example, which is the rigid body. By definition, in a rigid body, the distance between 2 points is fixed. Let me call this distance c. So if I'm talking about coordinate, I'm talking in terms of coordinate. So if Ri and Rj are the coordinates or the position vectors of these I and jth particle with respect to origin, then the square of the distance between them can be written in this way. So since we already said this, the distance between them is c, so I can write here c squared. So this is an example of a holonomic constraint. So those constraints which cannot be expressed in terms of equations are called non-holonomic constraints. Consider a very simple example. So if a particle is confined to move in one dimension, so now it has two holonomic constraints. These are z is equal to 0, y is equal to 0. It can move on x-axis only. But now if I confined it in this region between a and b on this line, so now it can move, and it has 1 degree of freedom. It can move, but it cannot go beyond this region. So now this condition of constraints can be written in this way. Now you see that this particular system has two types of constraints. The holonomic constraints are y is equal to 0, x is equal to 0, and non-holonomic constraints are this, that x is greater than or equal to a and less than or equal to b. So now there is a very important difference between holonomic and non-holonomic constraints. It is that holonomic constraints reduce the degrees of freedom. For example, in case of previous example in which we took the example that a particle is confined. Okay, now there is a very important difference between holonomic and non-holonomic constraints. So this is on the basis of degrees of freedom. The holonomic constraints reduce the degrees of freedom. For example, in our previous example, we assumed that we took a particle which is confined in xy plane and the constraint on it z is equal to 0. Now you see that although generally a particle has 3 degrees of freedom, but when I apply one holonomic constraint, then its 1 degree is reduced, so now it has only 2 degrees of freedom. So for such a cases, for reducing such a constraint, we use the concept of generalized coordinates. Generalized coordinates are independent, they are constraints free. So in case of rigid body, I said that it has 6 degrees of freedom. So now these 6 degrees of freedom are represented by 6 generalized coordinates. While the non-holonomic constraints do not reduce the degrees of freedom, they only limit the motion. For example, gas molecule in a container still has 3 degrees of freedom, but it is confined in a region. As another example, consider a particle which is confined in first quadrant on xy plane. Still it has 2 degrees of freedom, but motion is limited. For example, you can imagine a particle or a ball on a table, on the surface of a table. So if you slide it, so it can slide on this plane, but now it has some constraints that it cannot go beyond this. Okay, so this was the difference between holonomic and non-holonomic constraints on the basis of degrees of freedom, and we have seen that to reduce the holonomic constraints and to solve the equation of motion, we use generalized coordinates. For non-holonomic constraints, other methods are used. So this was just a quick review of the constraints, and that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching.